The entertainment business is tough and you need a thick skin to survive. Prejudice and discrimination are common. Someone who's been in the industry long enough to be very familiar with all of that is Khanyi Mbau. She joins me now to talk about how much skin tone matters in the industry. Khanyi, a very good afternoon to you. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for inviting me.
Your change in appearance, in particular the color of your skin or the shade of your skin, has been the subject of much speculation, a lot of negative comments as well. How much of it is natural and how much is cosmetic?
90% of the color of my skin is cosmetic now. And this was a personal choice, but not because it's something that's needed for the industry. It's something that I preferred, and I realized that once my skin is fairer, I then have to use lesser makeup. Unlike sitting in the chair before I shoot a movie for long, I could just put on powder and I can go. So for me, that was a maintenance issue that I wanted to do.
And what do you say to people who then reduce it to having an issue with being a darker African person?
You know, the problem is I think Africans have become such bullies in terms of what our freedom means and what being African is, that now they use it against anyone, and especially darker skin tone people that then want to come around and say, this is how you should be when you're African. But why did we fight for freedom if we can't express our freedom in the way that we feel? And it doesn't mean when you're black you should be in beads and you should look ethnic in a certain way. You can become anything that you want. And then we all want to claim we're global citizens, but we hate it when people want to now reach out and look like a global citizen.
Does it bother you at all when you read some of what people have to say about your appearance?
No, it's actually interesting of how South Africans fear what they don't know. When people don't understand, they just hear the word bleach and then they go, oh my goodness, skin cancer, you're going to die and whatever. But technology is always upgrading itself. And if cell phones can be smartphones today, clearly skin lightening is at another level, that you don't get sick. It's something that you can actually maintain. And people then see filters and they think, no, you're too light now. You're just going out of hand. But South Africans are bullies, to be quite honest.
What are the dangers, Khanyi, of the sort of transformation that you have undergone? I don't imagine that it's 100% safe, as with anything else.
Nothing is ever safe in this life. I mean, just walking out your house is a risk. You could die. But with this, the risks are, number one, it's a lot of money. Number two is you need to know what your skin type is. You can't use what I use because your pH and mine aren't the same. Obviously, you can't be in the sun, but even naturally, you're expected not to be in the sun because the sun is harsh. So it's literally looking after yourself and using the right products for your skin.
You spoke about it being expensive. Let's ask a rude question. How much does it cost you to transform?
Look, I mean, just the IVs on its own, it's 8 procedures, and an IV can start from like 1.2 per procedure. So you can times
1.2 million?
No, 1.2 as in 1,200.
Because we know.
So if you're going to do it for 5 years, you can imagine how much that is. But you need more. It's not just the IV, it's the products that you use. It's the vitamins that you need to take. So all in all, you spend about 10,000 Rand a month.
Oh, okay. So let's talk about the other conversation that's erupted this past week about the acting business and skin color, because there's been a debate about how the industry favors fairer-skinned actresses. You've been around well over 10 years now. Is that something that you have witnessed?
I have witnessed it. The thing is, in Pearl Thusi's defense, I think she just couldn't articulate what she was trying to say in her tweet. She's trying to say she was tired of always being the girlfriend, the cute girl, the love interest, the side chick. She wants serious roles where people can take her serious and get into movies where she can get a meaty role. But because of her looks, she's always fallen into being a girlfriend, being a wife, being the sexy, you know, I don't know, colleague for some guy that has a crush on them. And yes, unfortunately, our looks, you get typecasted into that. But if you are serious about your craft, you will actually work yourself into your character. But yes, when directors look at you, they look at you and say, yes, you look like a girlfriend. Yes, you can make a good lawyer because you have a firm face. It does work against you, yes.
Colorism is a big deal. I mean, you and I can only speak to it as black people who've experienced it. You see it even growing up. Darker-skinned kids grow up with derogatory nicknames based on just how dark they are. So is there not a danger then, based on what we've seen happen this week, in taking a big conversation such as colorism and making it about an individual, whether for or against any of the people involved?
That's my biggest issue, is that I feel that parents are always looking up to celebrities, actresses, musicians to raise their kids and give them, instill values into them. That's what the family does. When you raise your child between the age of 8 months to 5 years, that's your foundation phase, where you need to make your child comfortable in who they are, so that the world outside doesn't mean anything. People also forget that the entertainment industry is about aesthetic. It's about looking like something that people can only dream about. So people then want to put their values in the entertainment industry. This isn't the UN where you're trying to save lives. We are entertaining. We give you things that you can only imagine. We look like what you can only dream about. And that's what the entertainment is. It isn't a space where kids are supposed to be educated and given self-confidence. We're supposed to make you come out of your reality and dream a bit when you look at us.
But entertainment also has the power to do that, because there's no denying that while a lot of it is art, it does impact on people at a very real level. So when do we begin to mix the two, the entertainment value as well as an awareness of the impact that what is on our screens, what's on radio impacts, especially on the minds of young, impressionable people in this country?
Yes. You see, every personality positions themselves in the way that they want. For instance, Nomzamo Mbatha has chosen to become an activist and a spokesperson for kids, for women. She wants to stand up and say, you can look to me, and I'm just an ordinary girl that's now going around the world and touching lives. Then you find people like Casper that are about fashion, about aesthetic, about the hip-hop, the champagne life. Every individual represents what they have chosen. It's not the whole industry that is forced to be in that box. So your child needs to be intelligent enough from your values to say, I choose this person and this is what I want. You cannot be put under pressure with something that you cannot relay with. Do you understand?
But the people, I suppose, that we could put pressure on are the powers that be in television, in media, who make the decisions as to who appears in front of the camera, to say to them that it cannot be that we continue to perpetuate the stereotypes that are seeped in colorism, where, again, we continue to see people cast where beauty has to be fairer skinned.
Look, it's a sad thing, but unfortunately, that's the reality of our industry. Is beauty is what we sell. It is the aesthetic. But now we've come into a space where melanin pops and they make you look amazing. So it isn't true that if you're not light, you can't get onto TV. But yes, I know if you're darker skinned, you need to work harder to make yourself stand out. But unfortunately, that is the business. It's like when you're a doctor, you cut people for a living and they cannot change that. You will cause pain to people because it's part of your job. In our entertainment industry, it is about looks. And let's not try and defend the fact that, no, we're trying to make everyone fit in. The entertainment industry, if you want to be a sportsman, you need to work out, you need to eat right. In our industry, if you want to be a star, you need to look the part, you need to look good, you need to work on yourself constantly. And that's just what our field requires. And I think we've also messed it up because now the corporate industry, when they want numbers, they call us. And that's where the lines get crossed. Because then they now think that because UNICEF has called me in because they want awareness, then they now think this is what I do and now I need. No, it was a campaign. But in the industry, you need to look a certain part. Like in sports, you cannot be fat if you want to be an athletic. That's what it is. And we can't say now, Caster's making fat kids feel useless because he's faster and slimmer.
I suppose that's the broader conversation about what's required of one. What we're trying to drill down to at this point is that the beauty itself in entertainment, as we've seen, is varied and should be varied.
Yes, I mean, even like in the modeling industry, you need to be tall, you need to be slim. So, guys, let entertainers enjoy themselves and do what they do. If you need to look green, if you need to make your nose straighter for whatever you're selling, that's what it is. We work with cosmetic companies, we work with aesthetic companies, and that's what we do. We need to look like what we're trying to sell.
All right, Khanyi Mbau, actress and broadcaster, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.